Welcome back, Arbor League. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Fresh off another set of regionals, I went to another tournament of my own Sunday night. One of the local game cafes in my town held a non-sanctioned tournament for all 5 of us that joined. That will hopefully flourish into a bigger play Pokemon tournament for points and attract more trainers to compete. And that's what we're taking a look at today. I had an awesome time battling, met some more awesome trainers and battlers, so let's get into it and see how I did. And as per usual, this tournament was another Show 6 Pick 3 format in the Great League meta. Let's take a look at the team I've chosen. First off, we have Azu, because you have to, it's just a staple, right? Second, I've learned from my mistakes at regionals where I used Clodsire, which was meta for about 5 minutes after it debuted, but ultimately Drapion is the king of safe swap and can outperform most other poisons and darks. Then we have Shadow Kanto Goat as the Mud Slapper for the Steel and other poisons. It's been doing really well at Regionals too with its Mud Slap buff, and in addition to Rock Slide, it can deal with Flyers as well, which would usually wall it, plus it is pretty tanky. Toxapex was a choice. It's very rock, paper, scissors, right? It either walls Azu or it gets walled by Mud Slappers because, let's be real, Brine sucks. It's still pretty bulky as it can deal with a lot of neutral safe swaps. Malamar comes in at number 5 with the typical moveset, and it's another choice. I mean, I think it's had its time, like it still does well in niche scenarios. It just needs shield for spammy Drapion. It just has seen a bit of a decline due to more Wigglytuff use lately and Fairy Wind users. And last but not least, instead of Serp, I was trying Dartrix out. The flying moves get stabbed, just the Brave Bird takes a while to get to right. It moves like Aerial Ace that are quicker. It's what benefits the other grass counters. But Dartrix is kind of bulky too, so it's not terrible. It just really hard walls Gastro and other Mud Slappers, and we were just having some fun, so it's still a real tournament, I mean, but it is locals, so gotta showcase at least one mon that represents me and or this channel. And for the team rating, we have BBCB. It's not too terrible looking, about average, but we're going to scroll down here to the potential threats just to see what we are dealing with. Galarian Corsola, I don't think I'm going to see many tonight, but we do have an answer for that in Drapion. Corviknight. You know, not too many people have hatched enough Rookidee candies to build one up, so I'm not expecting to see one of those tonight. We are looking out for Alolan Sand / Gastrodon, which we have an answer to in Dartrix. Morpeko, as you all know, can run a train on any team if you're not careful. It can single-handedly take out entire teams. Steelix, not too bad. We've got some answers for that. Utagu tomorrow, not really meta, so we're not too worried about our potential threats. Same thing with Galarian Moltres. It's kind of rare. I mean, it can do really well in Great League, but they are really rare to find in your incense, so I don't think I'll be seeing any of those tonight. And again, Regice, Pachirisu, it's either not very accessible or not very meta, say, like Belly Bolt. So I don't think we're going to see too many of our potential threats tonight. So let's get into the battles and see how we do. Now, I got a bye in the first round, so my first opponent in the second round was DanLePro, another YouTuber. I'll leave a link to his socials in the description as well. Now, I don't remember what 6 everyone else picked as it was written on sheets, but we'll start it off with Azu, Kwak, and Toxapex. Now, all Pokemon do have the standard pvpoke recommended movesets into the first match up against a Gastrodon. Kind of positive for me, we just don't want this on the Toxapex, so I'm willing to stay in here with the Azu. Everything is pretty neutral and we're pretty bulky. Obviously, because we're bulky, we do lose CMP there. That's totally okay with me, even if they go for the Earth Power, but it's a Body Slam bait. Body Slam not doing that much damage. Azu is pretty tanky. Going full, sending the Play Rough every time, just so we can get this Gastrodon as low as possible. Not quite sure what's in the back just yet. Probably something to protect from grass, so maybe like a Fire or Talon or something. We get body slam baited again because that earth power would have done a lot of damage, but they actually swap into the area dose. So this is where I was wanting to catch it here, right? So good thing that we baited ourselves and not throwing the resisted play rough, and now we can safely come and do Toxapex, and we are down a shield here, but Toxapex is pretty bulky. I'd imagine they'd be going for Trailblaze here to boost their attack, which they do. I mean, it's still neutral, but Toxapex easily able to tank that, get the neutral brine off, and it's not going to be KOing, but getting the area dose pretty low, still not shielding. So we're able to fully farm down here after this next Trailblaze comes through. It's neutral, but attack is boosted. Trailblaze still tickling Toxapex just a little bit, as we're able to maintain switch without going down any more shields and still getting to that brine.
Don't think a body slam KOs
from this range, but this brine will KO the Gastrodon, and they decide to shield. So they want to fully farm us down and have a move ready to go for our Azu coming back in, which is pretty low. But we've got K-Whack, right? I mean, we are a Shadow, but K-Whack is pretty bulky here. So we're going to send in the Azu, and it's another poison, and we can mud slap that all the way down with K-Whack. We can even let this next Aqua Tail go. We can tank one. It is non-stab. Shadow on Shadow. How much does it do? Just, oh wow, it's about 40% of Marowak's health. So I think we are going to shield this one up just so we can get 2 Bone Clubs off on that Ariados coming back in, right? We get a lot of energy here now. I don't think they're at a move that can KO us just yet. They do win. Oh, sorry, the Gastrodon I meant. So does Body Slam from this range KO? It barely does, not on 1 HP and a dream. K-Whack is able to get that Bone Club off, getting the last shield, coming with the Azu to farm down. Now, I don't think they made it to an Earth Power here. This just might be a Body Slam, and it is. We take game 1, taking out that Gastrodon. Into game 2 already. I'm going to need Toxapex this time, and we meet the Drapion on the lead. It's pretty good for us. I mean, they still have Crunch, but Aqua Tail, Poison Sting resisted, forces them to build up to the stronger charge move, right? We never want to shield the first one in case they get the debuff, so Crunch coming through, they do get the defense drop, so we might have to shield the second one. I mean, these Poison Stings don't do anything, right? And we're Toxapex, we're pretty bulky, but that Crunch might get us deep into the yellow, gets them deep into the yellow with the brine. Try to catch the Crunch on the Azu here. And because they're low enough, this is not as terrible a match for Azu. Azu not getting the debuff, and we're able to take another Crunch here, and because they are standard moveset, I don't think this Drapion was running Sludge. If you do, so be it, but it is just going to be another Crunch. Still no debuff on the Drapion, or from the Drapion, so I think we can still tank this next one and farm all the way down without getting farmed down. Still not getting the debuff, and we are able to farm down and take switch from the Drapion without using any shields. Coming out with a Play Rough on the Azu. So it comes in the Gastrodon. So I think we might get a Play Rough and an Ice Beam off here. How low are we? They decide to give up the first shield. We don't quite make it. That's unfortunate. But I'm happy with getting the shield. Going into that Malamar, anticipating other poisons. This is pretty neutral, right? I mean, I think I should be shielding on Earth Power here. Oh, it's just going to be a Water Pulse. So that's even a better match. It's not a terrible match for Toxapex, right? If they do have Water Pulse and they're just forced to go for Body Slams. But I think you get into that superpower here, just anticipating either catching or getting the shield. And we do, and we can 2-shield Toxapex. So I think, yeah, so Gastrodon, Drapion's gone. I was expecting an Ariados maybe. So we're going to get to a brine here. I mean, these Mudslaps are really hurting. I think I should have shielded something on on Psywave Boy there, because we're getting pretty low on the Toxapex and they still have a third. Yeah, the Malamar I should have shielded something there. Still would have had some health and energy, because we're not going to be able to farm down here, which is unfortunate. So I think, yeah, that mistake cost me this match. Toxapex will get taken out by the next Body Slam, and Malamar probably, yeah, one move, and it's a Gator. So GG's to Dan. Hopping into the tiebreaker here, we're up against the Fraligator in the lead, which is good, because we have Azu, so everything is resisted on the Gator. So yeah, like, I'd like to be the Azu in this match, just because everything is resist. I mean, the Hydro Cannons do add up after a while, but they're not Shadow. Do they go for the crunch? No, they do not. They go for the hydro cannon. So yeah, if you look at this match, it's actually not that bad, right? I mean, the Shadow Claw damage plus the chip of hydro cannon, and it's spammy. Azu's already in the yellow. So we're just throwing our first play rough here. So the Gator is actually like doing pretty well up against Azu here. But Gator's not Shadow, neither do they shield. So I think this next Ice Beam, he is in Ice Beam range, but we lose CMP. I think I can survive the next whatever he throws, which we do. Maybe not the Shadow Claw down. So this is looking a little dicey. I'm not really caring for a switch, I don't think. So neither does Dan, so he doesn't shield. We take switch with the Azu, and we'll have to see what number 2 is. It's going to be that Drapion, and we pivot into Toxapex just in case, and we do bait out the Gastrodon. This is pretty good for us because Drapion doesn't want to see it either, right? So we're getting this out of the way, throwing some neutral damage into that Gastrodon, and my goal here, I know he has Water Pulse and Body Slam, but the Body Slam plus Mud Slaps are really chunking. I think I can take one more. You want to get that Brine off, get the Gastrodon as low as possible here, just so we can maybe farm down with Azu or do something here. So I'm not willing to invest any shields. Throwing on good timing, 1 and throw onto the Brine, and does the Gastrodon decide to shield? It does not, so we might actually be able to pull something off here with the Azu. I think I'm going to shield if they do make it to the Body Slam. They don't, so we have to poison. Oh, he swaps, and it's a Drapion Mirror for 2 versus 2 shields. But I was ahead on energy. I guess lost CMP. He goes for the crunch. So Shadow versus non-Shadow. They do get the defense drop, so we are going to have to shield. That's very unfortunate in the Drapion Mirror. I'm just going to go, like, build up to 2 and go for the CMP tie. I'm just going to go straight Aqua Tail here. It's a little bit spammy. I'm not caring about the debuff. I know he has Aqua Tail, so maybe a mistake, or maybe just going for that defense drop. I don't know. However, we are going to have to shield up this next Aqua Tail. I'm going to have to be worried about the catch on the Gastro, right? So maybe on this next Aqua Tail, I'm going to have to watch for the catch. So we do shield. Oh, and there it is. And we don't have a move, but they have Body Slam, and we're probably going to get Mud Slap down, because they're maybe even 1-2 Poison Stings away. So I knew that was a loss, so GG's to DanLePro. My next opponent, Pogo Dylan, another PvP enthusiast involved in the community and great battler. And this next one looks like we are going with an ABB style grass double water strategy, leading with the Dartrix. So hopping into our first battle here, we've got Dartrix into Jumpluff, so Grass Flyer mirror match. So this match could go either way, right? If they have Aerial Ace, they outpace us. But if they have Acrobatics, it could be a little worse. So we do have to shield either way, but we have to bait here. So the double resisted Seed Bomb gets the shield from the Jumpluff. So they shield up a potential Brave Bird, so we have to shield up ourselves a potential Acrobatics. They reveal that they only have Aerial Ace, so that's good for us because we can tank one. But they do outpace us. So they get to another one here, so how much will this next... it's only single super effective. It does about, I would say, half of what Dartrix health is left, so we do have to shield the next one, but we get to the Brave Bird. The only problem is this lowers our defense, but Brave Bird gets the shield, and we're going to pivot. But it was a CMP tie, so we're locked in here, forced to take the Aerial Ace, which will take us out because we've been debuffed. One more Fairy Wind, actually, so Dartrix lives. They get a little bit of energy, but we come in with Toxapex here. Those Poison Jabs are really adding up, so they build up to another one and decide to swap, and we're met with the Drapion. So this isn't good, right? I mean, we've got Azu versus Jumpluff. So we're going to swap into... there. I think, yeah, I prefer the Poison on the Grass type. And they're, you know, about almost as bulky, so I think because I knew that there was only Crunch and Aqua Tail here, they couldn't hit us with a Sludge Bomb. So we're only receiving resisted damage here, losing this CMP tie, I think on purpose, just because I wanted this Drapion out of here. So our defense was dropped, so we're going to force them to throw the Energy Ball once they come back in. We still have a shield, but they still have a third. So we'll have to see what the third Pokemon is. The Jumpluff will be taking us out with the Energy Ball, coming in with the Toxapex, and it's revealed that it's a Diggersby, but it's Quick Attack. So Shield's up. might be an okay match, right? But Scorching Sands really does hurt. We can tank one, getting the debuff as well. And Brian, not the greatest move, resisting the poison types because of the ground type. And so Pogo Dylan looks like he has this one in the bag. I think I even just let this next one go. There's no coming back from this because we have to make like 3 brines and still survive somehow and farm down the jump off of the shield. So that's not going to happen. Into GG's. Into our next one, we got a Drapion Mirror here, but he's got Drapion Shadow versus regular Drapion. So they're doing 20% more damage, but receiving 20% more damage here. So they fire off just before the second Aqua Tail. We're almost equal energy here. So we probably get 1 and 1 more. So I fire on the CMP tie, which I win. So that's good to know. Aqua Tail coming through. Dylan doesn't shield the first one. Again, can tank it. We're about equal health here, so I think I can take another Aqua Tail. Gonna try to fire the second one off on CMP tie, so I think he's 2 off, but he catches onto the Feraligatr, which is unfortunate. It's normally a good match for Drapion, but we're getting pretty low, so we have to make a swap ourselves. Not before we're gonna throw a Crunch, okay? So fishing for the debuff here. Resisting those Shadow Claws, but they got 2 off. But now we can safely swap into the Azu, shields up. Again, very good match for Azu, especially now that they are shields down. So this next play rough because it is Shadow Feraligatr. They will have to shield if they want to keep this Feraligatr around. So maybe I should have started shielding something at this point. We've only got Azu and the Kwak, and I haven't seen their third yet. Right? The Drapion is already out. It could be like Ariados or Talonflame or something, so still might need a shield here. Taking out the Feraligatr, not going down shields, which is pretty good. Are we going to get to that Ice Beam? We do not. It was on, well, we do, but the CMP tie, so gonna let this one go through because I think it was just the tail or the crunch. Do we survive? We do not, but we come in with Kwak, able to Mud Slap down the Drapion. Want to start shielding something here, preserving our health. So shield the first Aqua Tail from the Drapion, and there's the Diggersby again. So again, this match could go either way. Everything's pretty neutral here. Ground doesn't resist itself or anything, so they're going to shield up something as well. I don't know why, I guess. Just to preserve health on Diggersby, but that was their last shield, right? Scorching Sands does way more than Bone Club, but can we out-spam them? We're going to have to make a catch ourselves at some point. Probably on the next Scorching Sands, I want to catch something on Drapion here, right? But they actually bait with the Fire Punch. Maybe they figure that they can get more Fire Punches than they can Scorching Sands, because we still have a shield here. So we also have to be careful of a catch ourselves. So we're going to try... Oh, and we do! And we farm down. So can we get that Aqua Tail off on the Diggersby? We do not. They make a Fire Punch. We just have to hope like one Mud Slap and a Bone Club KO on the Marowak, and that they don't have a Fire Punch. And if they do, that it doesn't KO. We get to the move. How much damage does this do to the remaining Diggersby? Marowak's Bone Club just about takes Diggersby out on 1 HP in a dream, but the Mud Slap takes it out, and we take game 2, saving ourselves. So into the third one with the tiebreaker, we have an Azu Mirror. So this is, you know, boring as shit like anything else. Umbreon Mirror, Azu Mirror, Bastiodon Mirror. We all hate it, right? The player of is just whoever wins CMP or whoever decides to shield first, I guess, kind of loses, maybe. Just so I really gauge on how much damage my play rough is doing versus how much their play rough is doing. Because we're almost at like the same amount of energy here, and we lose the CMP in the mirror. So they're on their second play rough, getting us into the yellow. We're also going to be getting them into the yellow. But this match is pretty even, right? But by this point, I'm starting to see that maybe their Azu, because its best buddy might be a little bit bulkier than mine. So this next play rough, I was worried about it taking me out, so I'm going to catch it on the Drapion. And hopefully maybe I Poison Sting them down, get ahead on energy on Drapion here. So we are 1 Poison Sting ahead going into the mirror, so maybe they do have the same team as us, right? I think I saw Dylan running a Kwak. I'm not completely clear on my memory. It was about a week ago. But that Aqua Tail would have gotten us pretty low, so I decided to use the first shield. and try to tie on CMP for the second one, because I know that I win the mirror CMP tie there, which we do. So I think this next Aqua Tail, we can tank it still. The Poison Sting's not doing too much. Yeah, we can build up to 2 Aqua Tails here. I was worried about them throwing theirs first, so I just do 1 and throw. Now we're probably about equal energy, but they catch again. Back onto the Azumarill. Very well played, Dylan. See, I love these kind of catches. So into the mirror we go, throwing the Ice Beam before they get to throw their move. The only problem here with switching back is that now we're locked, right? So maybe that was his game plan, is to lock me back in with the Azur so he could get a farm down with the Malamar that comes in. So I don't know why I baited here. I think I was only going to make the Ice Beam, but I was on my rotation where Ice Beam and Play Rough come up at the same time. But we get a shield still, which is pretty good. Malamar here. So up against Kwak, we can tank 1 because we are pretty bulky ourselves. And we are going to have to make a catch ourselves as well. Now, because they swapped out first, I have to watch for their catch because their switch clock came up first. Getting the final shield from the Malamar, so they don't want to get farmed down. Can we make the tail? We cannot. And yeah, so they're at almost back-to-back here, so this is unfortunate. Or they do have a move on another Mon, so we have to shield up the superpower. Still not going to be able to farm down, as they do have back-to-back, and GG's to Pogo Dylan. So 2-1 for him. We take that loss and lose both of our matches today at the locals. So very well played games by my opponents, excellent battlers, shout out to them, really awesome crowd to hang out with. I had a ton of fun despite losing. And a shout out to Magmar Man and the local Discord that keep this group together. Hopefully more trainers join, and you maybe consider joining your own local Play Pokemon tournaments. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on, because there will be much more Pokemon Go content to come. Actions like subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing go a long way to boost my videos into the algorithm and notifies you whenever I upload a new video. Until then, I've got lots more spicy anti-meta content on my channel to check out in the meantime, which also helps too. And that's all I've got for today, guys. Thank you again so much for watching and supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. But until next time, keep your sticks on the ice. I've been ArborAndy, and I'll see you buds in the next one.